Got Mouthpiece included. Great topic today. Let's like, share, subscribe. Let's like, share, subscribe. Get them in the building. Like, share, and subscribe. We're going to grow this thing organically. Mouthpiece included. Guard your grill, knuckle up. Born a boy, playing girl sports. Is it fair? Is it safe? Let's get them in the building. Like, share, and subscribe.
On in.
What up with it, Pope?
What's going on,
Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use.
Nobody.
Scholarship and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use.
Use tips.
Is it fair? Is it safe? If you were a girl, would you want to compete against the, these are the questions. This is what we're covering today. Coming up shortly. Let's get this room full with silverbacks. Let's fill it up.
So let's go.
That's a good mouthpiece. Yeah, it's a good one. Shout out to Mouthpiece.
Fast.
Now to a GMA exclusive, 2 transgender high school runners, well, they're kicking up dust in Connecticut, taking the top spots at the state girls championship, leaving parents wondering if they have an unfair.
There are just so many amazing women athletes out here today. It makes me so proud.
Now, this is the first year that a trans woman is in the competition. How do you feel about that?
Amazing. I feel honored to be a part of history. I have a lot of incredible trans friends who are athletes, and so we're all inspired. This woman's competing.
17-year-old Dallas area high school student won the title of champion in the girls' state wrestling competition Saturday. A mix of cheers and boos directed at the wrestler as he fell to his knees, appearing to soak in the wind.
It's really disappointing because I know that me and all the other biological females work really hard at track practice, and we work hours a day just to shave off tenths of a second for our times, and it's just really disappointing to know who's going to win the race before.
She's not exactly your average trans athlete.
Shave it off.
Well, what is an average trans athlete? Honestly, I find that kind of bigoted, David.
Derek.
Transgender MMA fighter has said she wants a license to fight in California.
Since sports events began,
We're live.
men and women have been segregated
We'll be
by
starting
gender
shortly.
to make the competitive events fairer due to differences in muscle mass, innate strength, or testosterone levels.
Okay, Heather Swanson is actually joining us now. Miss Swanson, how does it feel to be competing today?
I can't tell you how free I feel now that I've started identifying as a woman. Now that I can compete as female, I'm ready to smash the other girls.
President Biden's first executive orders was to allow transgender athletes to participate in girls' sports. Quoting his order, children should be able to learn without worrying about whether they will be denied access to the restroom, the locker room, or school sports. So let's talk about the real.
Overnight, California gubernatorial hopeful Caitlyn Jenner dropping a bombshell statement on trans legislation. TMZ asking Jenner this during her coffee run.
So there's legislation in various states to ban biological boys who are trans from playing girls' sports in school. What's your opinion on that?
This is a question of fairness. That's why I oppose biological boys who are trans.
He changed his mind.
Girls' sports
or she
in
did.
School. It just
I guess
isn't
it's
fair.
Hers
and we have to protect
prerogative.
girls' sports in our
And is it correct you just started
come up with a
identifying
new
as female
pronoun.
2 weeks ago?
I'm not here to talk about my
Change.org.
transition. I'm here to kick some ass. Let me tell you something, Dingleberry.
David Perry.
I'm gonna roll up the other women here, and I'm gonna smoke them.
For the headline-making,
smoking
weightlifter, all she wants to do
come on.
is compete.
I am who I am. I'm not here to change the world. I just want to, be me and just, do what I do.
I am the strongest woman this state has ever seen.
Yeah, buddy. So y'all know, Silverback's in the building. What up with it? What up with it, fool?
What's going on, fool? Happy first of another month.
Oh yeah, we're at the half year mark, pretty much.
Yeah. Doing it again for another spin around the sun.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Well, you know the before we jump into it, you can go ahead and take your 90 seconds or so of fame and any plugs you might want to do before we jump right into it and unpack this topic.
Nah. Hey, it's the end of the year for Jackie Robinson baseball. We had a good season. Had a lot of new kids come out and try and develop some baseball skills and learn the artful game of baseball. So we concluded my team season tonight at the Pullman Center on 103rd and Woodline. We handed out the trophies. Gave the kids some hot dogs and drinks and sent them on home. See you in the fall. Now it starts for us is tournament season. We start practicing tomorrow, and then the 10U or the minor league for Little League baseball tournament starts on the 13th, July 12th at Horner Park. So little T, little Deuce, and all my 10-year-olds will be at Horner Park trying to win the district to move on to the sectionals for the state tournament.
Hey, that's what's up, man. Do y'all have anybody videotaping any of this, man? I mean, we're in 2020.
Trying to get
the
parents want to come out there.
Can I log on to JackieRobinson.com and watch all the footage, every game, hit by hit?
Game Changer is trying to get us to log on and stream the games live, but the parents just want to sit there and watch. So once I get a dedicated person to videotape the games, or at least parts of the game for the kids to watch, other parents to watch, people who can't make it to watch, I will get that done for you. But
Man.
Volunteering is a tough thing there, fella.
Hey, and y'all had, man, because everybody got to, make ends meet, You know what I mean? We all chasing our tail out here. Hey, so y'all crowned what was the first annual home run champion?
Oh, yeah. My man, Jace, he
big ups.
Jace won the T-Mobile first annual Jackie Robinson West home run derby with 10 home runs in the final round. He had 10, and the runner-up had 9. And the other kids, they got a little tired going into the final round. They hit so many home runs in the first round, but it was quite exciting for the kids to be able to go out there in front of a full stadium, the lights. We had DJ Drea J out there playing sounds. It was a great night.
And T-Mobile. Well, first off, did anybody record the whole thing?
Well, we do have some video footage on Instagram. I got
Black people, boy. I love my people. Got a whole damn stadium, iPhones, T-Mobile. But bro, hey, but T-Mobile, did the winner get a free iPhone or Samsung Galaxy with a lifetime bill paid?
Nothing as extravagant as that. I think that would damage their amateur status in some sort of fashion. Maybe that'll change it in as of July 1st with the changing of the laws for the amateur athletes. But they did sponsor the trophies and put a few signs up. And for most of the league, T-Mobile, if you have the right documents, they will pay your fees for playing baseball for the season. So big ups to T-Mobile for their.
I was gonna say big ups to T-Mobile. Big ups
for their Let's Play Baseball grant, and they do it for most little leagues around the country until the funds run out. But usually get word early, get it out to the parents that hey, T-Mobile's have this grant so your kid can play baseball for free. So just send in for it and sign up for the league. You know, how can you beat that?
Yeah, as they say on the block, it's like a drum with a hole in it. You just can't beat it.
Can't beat it. For sure.
But bro, yeah, well, me, man, my intro is I'll just give a big ups to the Kappa Leaguers, Kappa League all over the U.S. So that's what I give my shout out to as we unpack this. I think this is a topic that's kind of being kicked. It's like a can being kicked down the road. It's a powder keg, but that's just my take on it. But let's just hop into it. So the topic is, should trans athletes be allowed to play women's sports? So these would be the trans who were born boys, biologically natural born boys, and then they switched over. So, uh, hmm. So we got Ace. We did our intro. Ace, let's make some arguments. You and I, we're gonna argue both points, and I'm just pretty much shooting from the hip on this.
Okay.
So we'll start out. Let's make some arguments supporting the trans playing sports. Anything where you could say, well, it's fair and it's
Well, I mean, it's 2021. There's been many law changes to allow for people to identify whatever
trans-friendly laws. Laws. Yeah.
Yes, you can transfer, get a super transfer, and transfer to anything that you like nowadays. And
can you say super transfer? All right, go ahead. But yeah, I got you. Yeah,
it's not used anymore except for these.
I was gonna say a lot of these kids probably don't even know what a super transfer is.
Yeah, they've never used a transfer.
Yeah, some of them never even been on the bus.
Yeah, isn't that wonderful? No, I think my son's been on the bus a couple times. But anyway,
so you're saying we're in a political climate that's open to it.
I mean, it's open to everything. You can change your gender. You have a lot of people getting married and deciding to change their sexuality after having children. It's
so they can do all these changes. You think they can't do racial changes? Like I can't wake up and say, "Hey, I was born a white man. I feel like I'm white. Hey, I feel like I should be Asian." Would that be politically correct? I mean, I know it's a whole nother topic, but A, do you think they have the science, and B, why don't we do that?
Well, why can't we? I mean, if we have all this
right
gene technology and
right
Ancestry.com, and then I've got 1.4% Irish in my system. I identify as a white Irish male.
Correct. And or could I get a surgery and say I identify as an alien? But we're getting ahead of ourselves because I'm doing pro. Okay. So I'm gonna say I'll add to the pro the fact that if they're taking the hormones or the estrogen, I guess scientifically, any advantage they were getting from the testosterone should be negated. So you say something like that.
Technically, it should be, but you still have the structure of a male that I guess you're saying is being lessened by the.
You mean you got the broad shoulders.
Yeah, and the big muscles and the penis, and it's and you know it makes you a different type of athlete, I believe. Sure, they should be able to compete, but why can't they? Why can't it be a transgender category or where? Because here's the problem I have. If you want to put the transgender males into competition with the females.
No. We're making pro arguments. If you're saying we're done with,
I'm getting ahead of myself.
Are you done with the pro arguments?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have any. I'm
I
not
didn't
a
have too
professional.
many. Yeah. I didn't have too many myself. If there's anybody on the comments out there watching, if there's anybody who's out there watching, if you could type in some arguments pro. I got another one, bro. You know how they say you walk a mile in a man or a woman's shoes or trans shoes in this case, or cute, or they. You walk a miles in a they shoes. You arrive at, what if it was me? What if I was born a male, but wanted to be a woman and then got to change in high school? I mean, see, that's a whole nother issue that we get into. Like, why are they getting this done so early? But they're getting the change done in high school, and I got it done in high school, and then now I decide I want to play sports.
Right. So, I mean, it goes.
It doesn't feel fair, is what I'm saying. It doesn't feel fair to me.
How could it be?
Well, it's what you said, and that's one of my solutions we'll get through to the end. I mean, you need I think just like they got all those different bathrooms, you're going to have different leagues.
Yeah, I mean, you have to. Because if it was okay for the male to go to a female, then why aren't there's such an uproar for females joining male sports as transgenders? What's the difference?
Well, I will make another argument for trans sports. I mean, you're probably better. You watch more women's sports than me. I don't know if it's going to make it more competitive. I mean, when you start talking about wrestling, bro, and UFC, man, it gets really strange when you start talking about those types of sports.
Yeah, but I'm not that discounting the athletic ability of women, but I mean, size and density wise, there's a difference. That's why there's males and that's why there are females.
Well, yeah, and let's just dive into it. We're going into the differences for anybody out there, not into the differences, but we're going into arguments against allowing the ones that were biologically born male to compete in female competitions. I'll start it off. Man, they've been breaking records, bro. I should tell you something right there, bro. The women's records are being broken by bums who you never heard of before the surgery.
Right. Well, that's why the records have all been separate. I mean, you have male categories and female categories. Now, if you want to throw the
asterisks,
yeah. I mean, come on. I really can't find a logical pro to the transgender athletes competing like there is no difference and the record should be the same. We should look at this particular athlete as the same as the other females that were born female that are trying to men that are training as females and going for these records that have been held for however many years, and they're being broken by transgender athletes. I mean, it's hard to fathom that there could be any fairness or any equality in that type of competition. So, make a transgender category, but then what? When you separate the transgender category from males that were born and identify themselves as females, and females that were born females and now identify themselves as males. So you just got two different trans cross.
Well, the fart smellers were making arguments of, if you think sports have been fair all these years, you've been disillusioned, meaning, they're going to make the assumption that, or the leap that Michael Jordan always has some genetic advantages, Walter Payton. Yeah, exactly. Some men may naturally have more, testosterone than other men, you know. That's what they were saying. Some men could have hit the genetic, jackpot. Same thing with some women who were born women, and you look at them and you say, ooh, man, is that a man? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's like they were naturally born with a lot more of the testosterone, on that thing. So, I don't want to drop names to offend people,
We're into a couple of them at empty.
Yes. Yes. Oh yeah. Yeah. In the WNBA, you see it. You know what I mean? You're like, wait a minute here. You do. You know what I mean? You'd be like, wait a minute. She's dunking. So yeah, so they're making that argument. That's the one I heard. I've also heard one of the athletes, the trans athletes, saying that it's the losers that are complaining. Ain't that something? Ain't that something? Got in there, switch your whole sex.
Yeah.
Broke records.
Now they're winning.
Yeah, he called the women the losers.
Yeah. And now I'm a champion. Now I've switched genders. I'm breaking records.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And only the losers are complaining. They're mad because I won.
Of course they're mad.
So you have them saying, I trained my whole life for this moment. You know what I mean?
Right. Here comes Charlene.
Man.
And breaks the world record.
And breaks your daughter's arm, while at it.
Right. So,
any other arguments that you could come up with anti allowing the trans to play in female sports? Let's take a look at this. Let's say women's boxing. How can this be fair?
Yeah.
How can that be? Bro, literally, you're creating a world where somebody could be clout chasing enough and thirsty enough that they'll go through the whole operation. They might not get the penis, what have you. They might not get the penis removed, but they'll be pre-op, what have you. But I guess that wouldn't be a trans then, Yeah.
I don't know, but the law changes now have determined that you don't need operation. You just have to identify yourself.
Correct.
As the other gender.
Maybe take a couple of shots. Correct. So, all right. So now I'm clout chasing and I can get a big YouTube following and then graduate high school and say, you know what? I was doing it all for clout. Or you know what? I want to be a man. You know what I'm saying? And you broke all these records.
Went to college for free on the
Correct.
on the girls basketball scholarship.
Correct. Played in the
And,
WNBA, got some commercials, but the whole time,
yeah,
I mean,
it was an ends to a means.
Go ahead. Yeah. Correct. You'd almost be dumb not to do it,
right.
Especially if you, like you said, if the law says you don't even have to start going through any type of processes.
Right. You can just, because that's what the law is in Illinois. You just have to sign a form stating that you identify yourself as another gender. And
I remember Cartman did that on South Park, though. But I mean, can you just be walking around in boys' clothes and going in the girls' bathroom nowadays because you went in identified as a girl?
Well, your ID will say female because you went to the Secretary of State's office, filled out a form stating you identify yourself as a female, and now you want to go into girls' bathroom all the time.
So why can't I identify myself as an alien? Why can't I say that I feel like I should have been born on Mars? And
well, legally,
you know what I mean? And my whole life, I felt like I'm not human. You know.
Well, legally, they haven't made that as one of the protected categories yet. So once aliens or Area 51 is protected by the United States government, then you will be able to identify as a alien, not a illegal alien, but as a extraterrestrial.
Yes, extraterrestrial, ET. Correct. Yeah. It seems like one would be able to identify as whatever one.
Whatever alien you want to be, right?
Yeah. At this point, you know what I mean? Why can't I just identify as a Sasquatch? Yeah, I'm Bigfoot. Right. You know what I mean?
It's not protected. Well, I mean, look, you have endangered species now. Let's say I want to identify, because they may shoot us, but they won't kill a dog. So, or American eagle, it's not protected anymore. So maybe a grizzly bear, a polar bear, or one of these particular animals that on the endangered species list. Why can't I identify as one of them? So maybe I won't be killed or mistakenly killed by 12. They might stop and say, I'll be like, hey, hold on. I'm a polar bear.
Right. That's right. I'm a polar bear. Hey, I'm white. I'm a Viking. You know what I mean? Right. You know, hey, I'm part of the royal family.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Where does it stop? Is the question.
And then why does it stop?
I don't know.
You know, you have all right, so we're making arguments against it. I'm gonna say again, the poor girl who's been training her whole life. I mean, how do they? You know, the doctors don't know, man. The doctors don't know. And even if it is based on hormones, you don't know who's really taking it. And then, like, even in the Olympics, steroids is bad. In any sport, steroids is quote unquote bad. So now it's all okay.
As long as you identify as the other gender, sure.
But, so they're saying that it's a performance enhancing drugs that they're taking?
That's impossible.
Do you know what I'm saying? To become a woman now you're saying, what are you saying? It's so philosophical, you know. So you're saying that you're taking drugs to weaken your performance,
right?
Or are they trying to say that men never had a physical advantage, and that would be a damn lie,
right? So it's a genetic argument that nobody has made or argued yet. It's just that the political aspects of it, everybody is trying to stay on the right side of, you know.
Correct.
But
it's a genetic argument nobody's got the balls to make, politically.
Well, you have Bruce Jenner or Caitlyn.
Correct, but well, we don't know about the balls anymore with Caitlyn. We just don't know.
I don't think Caitlyn had the surgery, but
but Caitlyn, first said that Caitlyn supported it. Now Caitlyn's running for governor here in this great state of California, and now Caitlyn is saying that it's not fair. So I mean,
she must. I think Caitlyn got a check.
But Caitlyn's a good example. Caitlyn is Bruce Jenner. Literally won gold medals against men.
Now imagine if Caitlyn would have switched over to a woman in 1980.
At 15.
How many decathlons she would have won?
How many world's records? Yeah. But Caitlyn would have made a lot less money.
Yeah.
That's one thing they're complaining about.
Yeah. I don't know.
Caitlyn came right out and said it's not fair. You know, too, Caitlyn's got daughters. And Caitlyn's daughters is like, that shit ain't fair.
I think Caitlyn got a check. One of those
it's gonna be a problem when a big black kid is at some white suburban school, high-end school, right?
Michael Clark
dominating and beating and beating the crap out of those little pink girls. Yeah. For people to sit down. It's already happened because some states have some states aren't doing that. And then now the feds are talking about withholding funding. Some states are like, no, those transgenders can't compete with the girls.
Yeah. What if what if D Wade's daughter decides that, you know, I'm really talented in basketball. And, you know, you go back, he identified as a female many years ago, and now gets into high school and college and dominates college ball and the WNBA.
Yeah.
What can you say?
And what about Michael Phelps? What if Michael Phelps chased the dream and said he was going to swim against the girls?
And compete for another 15 years, 16 years in the Olympics.
Well, there's a good point. Can he make the change now? That's a great question, Ace.
Yeah.
Can he make that change now? Yep. And even boxers and start coming out of retirement. I'm going to fight against the girls.
Why not?
Hey, look, I've been in the closet all these years. It's been something I've been toying with my whole life. It's a lot of money being made out of it.
I'm broke.
Lil Nas X is putting on skirts anyway.
I'm snorting up enough cocaine. Let me go out there. And
got the IRS up my butt. They always got the IRS behind them for some reason.
Why do you get
some pink motherfucker told him, don't worry about taxes. Don't worry about taxes.
You make money forever. Is that how it works? Oh, yeah.
None of us pay taxes. The same one.
I'm going to take my part, and I'm going to get your part. Uncle Sam could, you know, we'll figure something out.
Yeah, I'm going to cooperate. I'm going to cooperate with the government. When the big case comes up against you, I'm going to cooperate with them and keep my part.
I'm going to swear on the holy stack of those books that I told you to pay your taxes, and you didn't listen.
Man. So let me ask you this. If you had a daughter, because this has been happening, would you allow your high school age daughter to wrestle against transgender competitor?
Probably not. But if I had a daughter, I would figure she'd be highly competitive if she was in wrestling.
Correct. I know what you mean. The allow sounds weird, but as a parent, you do have that authority.
Yeah.
I think I would encourage against it, but I would support if she said she wanted to compete.
Yeah, that sounds like what I was trying to convey at a logical level. But you know, as a parent of athletes, you want them to compete on a even field. And
correct.
As a parent of two African American athletes, we never do. So it's hard to say what an even playing field is. But genetically, I don't know, because let's say in wrestling, let's say my daughter was a lower weight class and physically ready to compete against somebody in her own weight class and had the wrestling ability and skill, I definitely probably would want to see her compete. I don't know if I had to sit next to the mat with a white towel or whatever in case it went south physically, but I definitely would want to see her compete against somebody in her own weight class. But man, that's a tough one. That's a real tough one.
It is a tough one, and if you are dead set against it, it's almost like you're participating in the farce. You know what I mean? And if you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem. You know.
Right.
Yeah, but that one is tough. What's that?
It's got to be some kind of. You're leaving it up to these. I don't know who it's up to, actually. I don't know if you're leaving it up to the courts or the athletic governing bodies or to the federal government. I don't know who's making the determination that these transgender athletes can compete against.
Well, everything's a local decision, but then how the feds get involved is they'll withhold funding if
you don't. Oh, okay, I understand.
So it's the same way they do against the world. We'll cut you off. What they call that? When they cut them off, not annexing. Yeah, but it's not defunding. But it's a political term they use when they cut off all the resources, when they cut off a country from the Western stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and they do that. So they've been doing it against states too. Now they're turning that same, wielding that same power against us. So basically, what they're doing is saying, hey, you can do what you want, but you're going to lose this funding, and you're going to lose that funding, and you're going to lose this funding.
Right.
So since everybody's a slave to fiat capital and fiat funding, then of course they fall into place.
Well, they must be wrapping around some already created laws, probably pertaining to females in sports that are already on the books, and just not nobody's come from the other end suing from the other direction or litigating in the other directions that this isn't genetically fair, genetically feasible for transgender athletes to compete against females born as females and males claiming to be females. So it's probably just a matter of time and effort for somebody to.
I mean, you know how many gay professional athletes? You imagine if they would have came out. Do you know, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
God.
Absolutely. Yeah.
The WNBA would be having dunks and.
Right.
I mean, you're no longer looking at women's basketball at that point.
Yeah. Yeah. You're looking at it's rec league. I mean, I don't know. High level rec.
Let me ask you this.
Maybe in the 80s.
Let me ask you this. A man that was born a woman. No. He was born a man but became a woman. Now he wants to play in the NFL.
Born a man, became a woman. So what problem would the NFL have with
that? This is where we are. We have to have these conversations.
Because when it comes down to it, you still have to make the team. So if you're born a woman, born a male, identify as a woman, but you still want to play in the National Football League.
And so now you got a player out there with breasts. Yeah.
Hey, it's a cross that you chose to bear, but if you want to make it in the league, you gotta make it happen.
I'm just telling y'all, kids, man. The touchdown celebrations y'all looking at 40 years from now is gonna be different. You got to be able to do these thought experiments and look ahead. You gonna have somebody, shaking their boobs and everything like
Absolutely.
that.
Twerking.
And right. But but it's not gonna be a biological woman.
Right.
Right.
But it's hard enough for a full gender male to make an NFL team, as opposed to a transgender one.
Yeah, it would have to be somebody like Tom Brady, where the athleticism is not important, and they decide they're at the top of their game, and they decide they want to come back the next season as a female. You know what I mean?
Tom Brady.
You see what I'm saying?
I hope he's not. Well, I hope he is listening, but
Omaha. All right, well, so I think we both agree we probably wouldn't allow our daughters to compete or wouldn't want them to. We covered performance reducing steroids. We talked about Caitlin's changing her position.
So, do you think that was purely political, or was it?
I think that it happened as a result of politics, but I don't think it was purely political. I think somebody sat Caitlin down and told Caitlin just what we said here today. Caitlin, imagine if when you were 14, you decided to compete in track and field against all the girls in your school. Now think back, Caitlin, against who you'd have been competing against. You know what I mean?
Thank you, Sue.
Yes.
Jenny.
I mean, you could put me on my high school girls basketball team, and I'm gonna tell you like this: I'm gonna go from 6 points a game on males varsity to
60,
probably 30,
okay.
at least. Yeah.
Okay.
But we don't know the effect of them taking that testosterone out is having.
And you don't know the level of, if this is a term, transgenderism that they're in, because Caitlin, from what I remember, not that I've studied, Shem, just like
go
to
through phases,
just like to dress like a woman, but he didn't want to.
Yeah, it's like he's more like a transsexual. Like what's his name on Psycho?
Yeah.
He wants to dress up like his mama.
Yeah, but what is the difference in those terms narrowing at the more the years progress? They want to throw the transgender term out there, but you still have a transsexual term, and now it's meshing where you don't have to be a transgender, you can just be a transsexual and compete and get that scholarship and get that bag in the WNBA and retire to wherever country you want to retire to and turn back. I don't know.
So what's the future? What's the future of sports? We're kind of here. I commented. I mean, is it going to be just one league? Men, trans men, trans women? Is it just going to be one big melting pot, or are you going to have straight natural man league, straight natural women league, and then born trans this and born trans? I'm gonna ask you as a fan, bro. Like, do you want to pay for that? You go to a lot of sporting events.
Yeah. I mean, I think in the beginning it's the destruction of women's sports.
Yeah.
Because male sports, you still have all these male chauvinists and racists and sexists.
That's what Caitlin said.
And rapists and all of these guys running around in male sports. I mean, you got this guy, I forget what team he was on. It might have been the Raiders. who just came out and said he's the first openly gay football player in the NFL. Now, if you really believe that, you got to be a damn fool. I mean, there's got to be.
What do you
more.
mean? What's his name? The black dude was out there.
Yeah, he didn't make.
Well, openly, he's saying.
Okay, open. But there's come on. I mean, percentage-wise, numbers-wise, there's more gay males in the NFL and the NBA and baseball and all of these sports, but they're protecting the brand, and they can't come out. I don't know. He might have just did it for Pride Month, but they can't come out in the sexist arena of sports that they're in and still continue to strive, I believe, or thrive. So I don't know. It's a heck of a question because
I'm thinking they're gonna have to have their own league, but who's gonna go watch it?
Yeah, who's gonna support it?
So, like, you know what I mean? Like, even when we was coming up, bro, you had the boys' games, and then if you had a good girls team, or you know, if Marshall girls was coming through to play your girls, you might have a lot of people show up to the game.
Right.
But there was really no interest in fan support. So
No.
now we're talking about transgender ball. I mean, I hate to.
Who's gonna be the Joanna Man's gonna be the transgender star that's gonna get you to a game? I mean, I don't know. I mean, women's sports seem to be having their attendance issues as it is, and I don't think throwing transgender athletes in there will help.
And you know, it seems
or the branding.
Door.
You know, because it all comes down to the money. Now, college sports is separated sports between revenue generating sports, non-revenue generating sports, and then they got the Title IX and stuff they have to support because of laws. There's no way that they're going to put money towards transgender unless it's mandated by law.
I mean, what would be the equivalent of a boy turning into a girl so he could compete as a cheerleader and get the advantage of being at the bottom holding everybody up? Which you can get scholarships doing that.
I mean, you can be a cheerleader now as a male and get a scholarship doing that.
True. That's very true.
Transgender.
That's very true. That's very true.
But you still can be a transgender, and you might want to be the male, the cheerleader that wears the skirt as opposed to the cheerleader that wears the pants, and still at the bottom holding the people up. So
Yeah, it's got to be some sort of equivalent I'm looking for. Where I would say, well, I should be able to do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe it's a modeling thing, the catwalk out there or something. You can't go down the catwalk.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe they
go down the catwalk.
The sorority fraternity thing.
Yeah, I mean, there's that. I mean, there is that. I mean, this is where we're at. So now you come to find out, wait a minute. You were a girl in high school?
Yeah.
Wait. Don't? Wait. You know what I mean? Right. I tell you what, don't call us. Right? Okay? Don't call us. We'll call you. All right? Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean that's the world
where we're at. Yeah.
And I mean, what about Big Charles and wants to be Charlene now? He wants to join his local sorority as opposed to being a Greek male because he's transgender. mindsets and laws and bylaws got to change. You know, my fraternity has been, amazing. I don't. It's not in our bylaws, but it's part of our landmarks as far as males and females. So, you know.
So, I think it's beyond my generation.
you let the next one.
Yeah, I mean, I can't think past certain, remedies, but you got any solutions and remedies? I mean, only thing I could think is the Transgender Sports Association. Maybe some money there. Maybe we'll start that. Maybe we'll start the Transgender League.
We got to put a LLC together. I think, hey, I think it'll work. We'll launch your next
transgender. Get Transgender Little League going and get D Wade's family involved. You know what I mean? Yeah.
We can launch it next June.
Yeah.
And
transgender. You don't know if you want to be you don't know if you want to be a boy or a girl. But you want to hit a baseball. We'll worry about where you're going to play later. We're going to teach you how to hit a baseball.
We're going to train you. We're going to develop you, and we're going to build a team around you. It's got to be a landing spot for these individuals who are part of the world now.
Well, I think here's the way I feel. I feel if the legal age, for statutory rape and all this and that is 18 or 17, whatever it is. Whatever that legal age is, bro, I think you should have to be that age before you can declare yourself whatever sex you want to be, right? I think that if you're going to tell me that a child can't make a decision sexually, right?
Right.
A child can't make a decision whether or not they want to be with that man or that woman, right? At 15, 14, at 13, which I agree with, because that's statutory rape.
We'll sign contracts.
So if you can tell me that, then how can you? What's that?
Or sign contracts to get your ears pierced, or do all these other things legally that you can't do to a certain age. Right?
Correct. Point, though. But I'm saying if you're gonna say that, a boy or a girl can't consent, then how can they consent to a sex change before that age? So we shouldn't even be having this conversation. The conversation should be more related to college sports.
Exactly.
But they're lumping a whole lot of stuff into parents' hands, I feel, before it should have to be lumped. Hey, look, son or daughter, you shouldn't even really be. Listen, according to society, you can't even make these decisions.
Absolutely.
So that's the law we need. I mean, sure, you can, how about this? How about go through puberty before you decide what sex you want to be?
Right. But they say you're born this certain way. But
bro, you mentioned earrings, and I hate to cut you off, just on those points, and tattoos. It's a lot of stuff we do younger as we're developing, because we got testosterone and we're teenage.
Oh, absolutely.
That when you grow up, you're getting tattoos covered up. You're not wearing earrings no more.
Right.
So the same thing could conceivably happen. I'm not saying in every
instance,
thing. Yeah, but that now it's just the thing to do. It's the cool thing to do. And then somebody could have regrets, and now look what they did.
Right. Well, I mean, a lot of this I attributed to more sexuality being portrayed on television. Before in the in the in the 60s and 70s when everything was so straight laced.
Man, the husband and wife slept in separate rooms, and then
Right.
and then when they was in the same room, they was in separate beds.
Separate beds, right.
Lucy was the first one to sleep in the bed with her husband on TV.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
So you have this change going into the 2000s and the development of cable TV and all this sexuality, whether it was transgender or homosexual or even heterosexual, being portrayed straight to the boob tube, straight through the radio, straight through the music. And, I think that's part of the mindset of young people being developed into thinking that this is what they want to do. Brainwash.
Yeah, and it's starting at an earlier age too, bro. Even like Disney shows, cartoons, bro. If you watch like kids' cartoons, you be like, what are they doing?
Right.
What are they talking about?
Yeah. But who's going to censor it? As long as its content is G-rated, it's fine. And now that it's accepted, even in Chicago here, they're teaching curriculum about homosexuality and sending this email disclaimers to your house about, well, this is the curriculum that we're teaching the children this year. We don't know exactly when, but we just want to let you know that this is what's going to be going on in your child's 5th grade class. It's like, why? And I opt out, but it's amazing. So they just do legal disclaimers to tell you that we've adopted what our mayor or school board wants us to teach the
And
kids.
bro, one of the teachers we had on the self-love show said it's a 3rd grade teacher. A 3rd grade parent came walking into the classroom one day with his son and saying that the son is now wants to be called by some girl name, and the son is now a girl. And made the announcement, talked to the teacher, and they and right, and kids are in 3rd grade, bro. Like, what are y'all?
I mean, if you got some documentation, or if legally, you got all that cleared away, and that's what you want us to do. I mean, we got.
Man, look, if I'm running the school, here's what you need to do, sir.
Yeah.
Transfer this kid to another school, and the first day of school, have him dressed up as a girl. No, you know what I mean? I mean, come on, we can't do this to these kids psychologically. These kids aren't going through this trauma. They're not.
And go forward with that from there, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, you should have thought about that before. I mean, how you gonna do that?
That's quite wild.
But it's a part of conditioning these kids, as you said, for a new norm. Right. That's a new norm. So if they're getting conditioned like that all the way in 3rd grade and on Disney, and it's all in their subconscious, and yeah. And also, bro, everything's fluid. Mickey Mouse is no longer a mouse, bro. They made Mickey Mouse a little boy. Disney has a little young, gender fluid looking boy that they call Mickey Mouse as well, and they mix it. So yes, but they're messing with these kids, man. We used to have correct. We had separate stuff, bro. That was the animals, that was the man, that was the woman. And then we can, we moved from there. And as you got older, you realize, okay, some things are overlapping. You know what I mean? And we're all animals and whatever. But
yeah,
bro, they're mixing them up with animals are people and people are animals and girls are women and them singulars are they. And I mean, hey, I'm not educated. So,
well, we can't fix the racism in the school in the world, but we can figure out how to make boys into girls and girls into quickly and easily.
Yeah, and then the boys can't be toxic masculine, but the girls who declare themselves to be boys can be as masculine, can be more masculine than any boy in the school.
Yeah.
And if the boy declares himself to be feminine, he can go around and say all types of stuff to people and get away with it.
Only in America. You can't say that to me. I'm identifying as a girl.
Correct. Yeah, but the masculine boy says something, he's identifying as a criminal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big ups to Bill Cosby.
Yeah, big ups to Bill, man. Yeah, bro. And then if you got some final words, man, we can go ahead and wrap this hour up, bro.
Well, the topic of today was the transgender athlete. We jumped off into whether it was fair or equal for trans men born as males to become females to compete in female sports. Genetically, without the scientific backing, I mean, I would consider it not fair. You do have certain females that are more athletically talented than certain males, and vice versa. You definitely have a lot of males that are structurally built and stronger and more athletic than females. So it's hard to say that this would ever be fair for a man to join a female sport and compete as a female just because he identifies as that. So it's up to society and our progression or transgression, whichever you consider it to be, to figure out what's going to happen. Will the transgender athlete have their own category, or will this continue to progress where the males can compete with females? Male athletes born as males can compete with females, and females can compete with males. So this is a tough one. I think it's something that's going to have to be revisited probably in a year. We'll think about having our own transgender academy, so look out for that to train athletes in whatever sport they want to excel in, based on who that they identify as.
Man, I want to add just
Make
to
America
that.
Great Again.
Facts. I want to add just to that, man. There's a lot of parents who go through great lengths to all over the world, on both sides. Both sides. They go through great lengths to, have their children get the best education opportunities, vis-a-vis, private schooling, scholarships, things of this nature. Oftentimes that's provided, by a scholarship, whether it's going to be through academia or athletics or a combination of both. So things are getting very competitive at the higher end schools. I mean, beyond competitive that, perfect ACT score doesn't even guarantee stuff anymore. So now we're creating a scenario of parental abuse. So you have these parents living vicariously through their children. What could stop a parent, a diabolical parent, potentially, from grooming their own child, to believe that they're a girl? Say, hey, look, son, this is what you need to do. You know what I mean? And you can get into Princeton. Harvard, free, for the free. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right around there, keep a low profile, get you your free education. I mean, this is what we're setting up society. this is what we're setting up. And if you guys are going to say to us that it's not fair, I say check the data. You know, obviously, we're not saying that every boy that changes his sex is going to break a state track record. What we're saying is that if you take a boy that was a boy and change that boy to a girl and then line them up with a natural born girl and they had the same training, etc., and diet and things like that, we're going to see who's going to win that race. And there's a reason why men's sports have been separated from women's sports in the whole beginning.
Absolutely.
If we're going to do this, then we might as well just not separate it at all. Line everybody up.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
The men, the women. Yeah.
I've had it. Go back to the Coliseum days. I raced the lion. Whoever makes it back to the quarters before they get ate by the lion, you're the winner.
And if you're doing UFC and the women are competing with the men, just maybe let the women have some pepper spray as part of their toolkit or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Shit.
I mean, you can't put the potential for fraud in this transgender.
That's what I'm saying.
Past anyone. I mean,
that's what I'm saying.
You have celebrities with all type of means to send their kids to college, buying their way into schools and putting them on teams that they've never even trained with, and paying, hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Correct. So imagine some rich family in a corner of the world trying to get his kid or her kid into some school in the U.S.
Right.
The lengths they'd be willing to go through and have some doctor claim that their kid is, We didn't even talk about the Olympics.
Yeah.
I
think that's probably where things will they'll have to drop the hammer.
Well, they're trying. I mean, they snapped on Big Russia for all the steroid use, but Switzerland, I think, Finland, one of them, with that big deadlifter on that video I made. Yeah, man, they're allowing them to compete in the Olympics, and the rubber's got to hit the road somewhere because that shouldn't be an international decision? Like,
because there's an International Olympic Committee, and
because Russia be like, y'all ain't said shit.
we can put Boris out there.
We've been trying to tell y'all
this for years.
The Germans, y'all ain't said nothing.
Oh yeah, we're training a whole different way.
Yeah, man.
And maybe that's where we can start our transgender academy at over there in Mother Russia.
Yeah, they call it TA, Transgender Academy. Hey, what you got for next week, Ace? You got anything in mind? I always be having something, but then I forget.
Oh man, we got training camp coming up. Got to get back into football. I gotta figure out some kind of football talk. I think that's next on my mindset. Something interesting concerning football.
Yeah, man. All right, we'll get into some football, man. We'll get into some football, man. Maybe we'll break down who were the original 4 teams, who were the owners. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? What was the point of professional football? Because I know it had a lot to do with a lot of that going on, man.
Yeah. They can afford to make money.
Yeah. Hey, but we'll come up with something, man. Hey, and for y'all out there, we always appreciate your support. Make sure you check us out. Guard your grill. Knuckle up. Shit, I think I forgot. Oh yeah, here we go. So knuckle up, Ace.
Yeah.
Don't forget to bring
And don't forget to bring your mouthpiece.
We had to bring it, baby.